We have a special treat for you today, guys. We're going to be talking about the endangered North American wood turtle. I'm James, guys, and you're watching Blue Dog Aquatics. Now, today we're talking about the elusive, the I've never seen before North American wood turtle. And you may ask, well, if they're endangered, don't they fall under the Endangered Species Act where you need a CITES permit? Yes, they do. But we will get into all that in just a second, and we'll get into how this one actually came into our possession. He's actually having fun in the jets right now, and that's because of where they come from. Now, where do these kids come from? They come from North America, hence their name. They actually come from Canada as well. But did you guys know that these guys are illegal in over 40 states? So it's not like you can just run out to a store and pick one up. We're actually going to grab him. Look at that absolute beautiful shell. These guys, so this particular one is called a high orange North American wood turtle, and you can see why they have their name. Their legs, their body is all high orange. But look at that shell. Have you ever seen anything like it? It's absolutely beautiful. We'll set him up there on his on his basking platform, just so you guys can have a better view of them. Now these guys are omnivorous. They will eat just about anything. They'll eat plants, they'll eat fish, they'll eat bugs, slugs, you name it. Everything is on the menu. Wait, where are you going, mister? Where? Oh, he's bailing off. Here he's popping up over here. He's going back for the jets. So, with that, yep, he's hanging on right there. These guys are absolutely amazing swimmers. They are, and it's crazy because they actually spend more time in the water than most of your wood turtles do. Most wood turtles are mostly terrestrial, and then they'll spend some time in the water. These guys, depending on the season, actually dictates whether they're on land or water. So during the winter months, which is actually what we're leading into right now, these guys are primarily aquatic. Obviously, we still have a basking spot up there for them, but these guys love to spend time in the water during the winter. During the summer, they will actually spend all their time, or most of their time, up on land. Oh, look at this cute face. This is adorable. Now, we did have a female in here, and we will get into that in a second, why she's not in here anymore. Oh, yeah. Are we talking about the crime you committed? Yes. Yes, we are. Yes, we're talking about you. Now, lifespan on these guys is kind of all over the place. Because they are endangered, there's not a lot known about them, especially in the wild. Now, typically, your average wood turtle can live 20 to 50 years. But it's hard to judge how old they are once they surpass 20 years because they stop growing. And with that, it's kind of hard to go, okay, well, we know you're at least 20 years old, but unless they pass away, they can't really dictate how old they really are. And guys, there's some knowledge out there on how these guys are in the wild, but still to this day, there's not a lot. Now, enclosure size for these guys should be about a 5x5 enclosure. And here's the tricky part. You almost need 2 setups for these guys just to house them. You need a pond that's about 5x5, and then during the summer months, you need another enclosure that's 5x5 that is 75% land and 25% water. So, are these for beginners? Absolutely not. Not to mention you need a CITES permit just to own them because they're endangered. Not to mention you cannot transport these across state lines. It is a federal offense because they are now protected under the Endangered Species Act. So you cannot transport them across state lines. Now, as you can see, these guys love water. Now, temperature for them, their basking spots are anywhere between 85 and 90 degrees. Now, you would think that would be where they're more active, but unfortunately, it's not. That's not the case with North American wood turtles. They actually will just go up, bask long enough to help digest their food, and then they're back in the cooler temps. They actually love being in 50 to 70 degree, a 50 to 70 degree weather environment. And their habitat, they are from streams and marshlands and rivers. So as you can see, they love swimming. They love being in that current. Are you struggling? Are you struggling? Now here's an interesting fun fact about these guys. During the winter, which they actually breed in water, and we'll get into breeding here in a second. But a fun fact is these guys can actually hold their breaths during the winter for up to 130 days underwater. That is just absolutely crazy. But they do this because they're in hibernation. They slow, kind of like how crocodilian can slow down their metabolism when they're in cooler water so that they don't have to surface as much. It's the same thing with the North American wood turtle. And I thought that was just absolutely crazy that they can hold their breaths for 130 days. Yeah, I know, isn't that crazy? That's so crazy. Now let's get on to what happened to the female that was in here. Oh, are you gonna walk away from this conversation? Is it not pleasant for you? So, there was a female that was brought in with this male. After talking to Game and Parks and the Conservation Department and so many more people, we found out that they are kind of poor breeders. The male, if there's not enough females, will actually drown other males underwater. And there you go. This is also the case with females. They don't know the hint of the word stop. Don't do that. I'm drowning. I can't breathe. Yeah. And unfortunately, that is what happened to the female. He was trying to breed with her, which we were really excited because, you know, if we could introduce captive bred to replenish their population, it would help their numbers. But unfortunately, Miss Shore here, who she needs a name, drowns his girlfriend. So her body is actually being given to our exotic vet so that the tech students and everybody in the veterinary world can do more research on this species and hopefully identify weak points to help them thrive better. Now, one of the main reasons why they're endangered is because of loss of habitat. A lot of the forests, oh my God, are you smiling? Look at that face. A lot of the habitats where these guys are from are the woodlands, the marshlands are being torn down or they're being destroyed by storms, and which is leading to the loss of habitat. Not to mention there are some plants that are coming in because these guys can eat vegetation. It's also killing off a lot of the species as well. So we need to keep these guys in our minds. Anytime we see like a bunch of tree lands being ripped down. Now this particular turtle, like I said, he does need a name, so let us know in the comments. He actually came from New Jersey. And that, you're like, well, James, you're in Nebraska. How do you have them if he's illegal to cross state lines? So he was actually grandfathered into the program. He was shipped from New Jersey to the Henry Dooley Zoo with the Conservation Department to try to breed and help these guys reproduce. But over time, it was just unsuccessful, and so there was a conservation officer that took them in to continue the breeding process. She got overwhelmed with too many species, and so we were able to help out and take possession of these North American wood turtles, which makes it, because this particular turtle is grandfathered in, it means that we don't have to have the CITES permit. These guys are heavily tracked and heavily monitored, and so what are you looking at there? What, are you hungry? Okay, we'll feed you in just a minute here. These guys are heavily monitored and heavily watched. So when you go to a store and you buy an animal and you have to fill out that adoption form, there's so much more that goes into this species with paperwork. And that's because they are protected, they are endangered now. This animal, even in death, they cannot leave Nebraska. They actually have to be cremated because if they were introduced into another state, even in passing, and then let's say buried, they could wreak havoc if they were exposed to something else. So they actually have to be cremated after death. So, yeah. But yeah, guys. Oh, where'd you go? There you are. You're swimming back to the stream. With that being said, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe. Thank you to all the new subscribers. And I hope you enjoyed this unusual. You know, how often do we get to do videos on endangered species? Like I said, guys, he still needs a name, so make sure to check him out. And thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you next time.